Uh, I'm
That's
looking
fair.
at what I posted, and it did not exactly work like I thought it would. So,
I see this.
oh well.
We tried. Look, if nothing else, I'll go through and put all the links in the Discord like I usually do
I mean,
for
the
script.
links will be in the Discord. The links will be in the doobly doo for the YouTube video. So yeah, the resources that we have used will be out there.
Yeah.
Even though we are not journalists, I say that although we're about to talk to someone like we're journalists in a couple of weeks or so.
I have something for you on that.
Ah,
I'm
okay.
going to do a description on a definition of a journalist.
Oh,
A journalist is someone that does any sort of investigation and background checking and reports their views and opinions or reports what actually happened.
I'm still not a journalist. I am just a comedian.
That's fair, but
Do not mistake me for anything smarter than what I actually is. Although all my opinions are correct, they are opinions.
correct and verifiable as opinions.
They are verifiable as opinions, yes. I
We need to add
say
that part in
that,
there.
but sometimes I offer up facts as opinion.
I mean, yeah, but still.
In any case, what I'm saying is, as I say things, take them not just with a grain of salt, not just with a shaker of salt, but take them with a whole rock of salt
Yeah, you know, one of them 50-pound salt blocks that you feed horses? That's good.
that you're not allowed to leave out for deer.
Yeah.
I mean, I get why, because it's kind of inhumane and a little messed up. You're already hunting not the smartest of the sort of equine shaped animals, and you're hunting
Mm-hmm.
them with guns. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
powerful guns and scopes, and you're allowed to use camouflage, and you're allowed to wait in a tree, and like, you're stacking the odds in your favor an awful lot. Why do you
Mm-hmm.
need to also leave out bait? I feel like, now, all of this being said, I have nothing against hunting. I think that hunting, especially in Virginia, where we do have a deer problem, hunting is wonderful. And we should do something about, I think, some of the laws regarding what you're allowed to do with deer meat. Uh, Maybe need to be re-examined, because we could have a surplus of meat to feed to people who maybe don't get enough meat.
That actually was one that was changed here, I want to say it was last year,
Oh, was that
or went
the
into effect.
yeah? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good, because I
They're
think I love the fact that we have a decent number of deer, but I know we have way too many in this state.
oh
It
yeah.
That's why it's dangerous to drive after dark in this state,
Or early in the
or
morning, or
early
sometimes
middle of the day, late in the afternoon, around dusk, sometimes right around brunch.
yeah.
Uh I've caught an occasional nooner.
Mm-mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
they
But you know
they say that
that rare 2 o'clock one is it's safe at 2 o'clock. It's too hot then.
but only during the hottest months of the year.
Oh yeah.
You know, when I tell people to drive safe or have a safe journey home or things like that, because I do say that relatively often because I'm a very polite person. I
Mm-hmm.
say have a safe journey and be careful. In Virginia, every season's deer season.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Saturday Evenings Posted Mostly presents General Chaos. And if I'm not mistaken, this is our big 13th episode. I am Trevor Stewart 1308, and we are here with the associate producer, Kat. How you doing, Kat?
Fair. A little bit rushed this morning, it feels like, but fair.
Okay. Yeah, well, you had sent me that text saying that you were called into emergency pet sitting, so
I
yeah.
mean, it was partially scheduled. It was just I was scheduled to be doing this like 3 or 4 hours from now, not now.
Right, right. Which conveniently would have given us an end time so that we wouldn't be stuck talking about this for hours and hours again.
Right, right. No,
But
no, it's okay.
before we jump into today's topic,
Mm-hmm.
today's pre rolls are brought to you by the Hidden Leaf, downtown Charlottesville, 105 West Main Street, Suite 200 above the bricks between 10,000 Villages and Hamilton's. That's Hidden Leaf, where the only thing better than their bud is their customer service.
Have they actually started using that yet?
I don't know. I'm trying real hard. I'm saying it to all of them every time. Like, just, it's free. Use it. This is your new free slogan. And they like it. They all love it. So, I mean, it'll get there. They're very busy individuals in general.
Mm-hmm.
And redesigning merch is not top of their list of things to do, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I get that.
Right.
No, apologies to anybody listening that thinks that there's some weird truffle monster sniffing around me. One of the critters I'm pet sitting this weekend is a very, very active and interested French bulldog who's busy rooting across the rug right now. It just sounds horrible.
French bulldog. Gosh. What
Yes.
what an insult to nature the poor thing is.
I mean, yeah, but at least it's a cute insult.
Mm. Granted, but if I want a cute insult to nature, I'd rather have a pug.
Yeah. Oh, a pug, but not a puggle.
Right.
I've
No,
seen a puggle.
just a pug. Just a pug. Not a they involve a lot less drool than a French bulldog or a British bulldog.
Yeah. These don't drool right now.
Well, that's cool.
They're they're
That's
they're
good.
they're not at that stage. I'm not gonna say they're not that type because,
Okay.
but they're not that stage. However, you've seen how pugs sit, right?
Yes.
They don't sit like you usually see a dog sitting. They kind of
They
sit a
sit
little
like a
bit more.
bulldog.
Okay, yes. Friend friend of mine, I went to go help them pick up their dog, their new dog,
Mm-hmm.
who's a Texas healer. And this poor puppy, when we went to get him, he'd been a fat boy's buddy, and then Frat Boy um, went on to a job away from the area and couldn't take his buddy with him. So
You
mom and
know,
dad got stuck with him.
I believe I wouldn't be doing my job if I did not call you out for saying fat boy.
Frat, Frat.
Frat. Frat. Oh, that's different. You can insult them.
Exactly. So dude had this dog. Dude left the area, left it with mom, and mom was a clean freak to the point where this poor puppy, when we got him away from there and got him home around normal animals,
Mm.
he would go outside and he would come inside and he'd look around and wait for someone to come wipe his paws because he wasn't allowed to play in the yard and be a dog. He was allowed a teeny tiny blanket to sleep on in her house. He wasn't allowed on any furniture. He wasn't allowed to go anywhere in the house except for the blanket, the kitchen, and the door.
Talk about a dog that needs rescue.
So yeah, we rescued him, but he grew up, or he spent a lot of time in that house with his only buddy, who was this puggle bulldog, and ended up when we first brought him home, he was sitting like a puggle bulldog, which looks really funny with a dog that actually has a tail.
I mean, it is kind of because yeah, curls underneath, doesn't it? Comes out the front.
Oh, it took a while of being around and being allowed to go play with other dogs and interacting with other people, and eventually started sitting in a way that was actually comfortable for him. That he's like, oh, I don't have to imitate the puggle to be loved. I can actually do this.
Aww.
Now, also, the very first time that I had a dog blow anywhere near that much fur in my car in a 2 hour trip.
Yeah, I believe it.
Poor thing, he was so stressed out. I got out of the car. I got out of the car and uh, when I got out of the seat of the car, it was a black car seat, and there was literally an outline of white fur around where I had been sitting. It looked like a Hollywood comic. That's how bad that was. The anxiety for that critter was.
I believe it, though. I do. I believe it. High strung. Poor high strung little guys.
Yeah. Copy the link. There we go.
Oh, are you putting the links in the
Yes.
yeah, good. Yeah, because of what we're doing, how we did this. I'll wait till
Right.
we come back from commercial to explain.
Right.
Um in two, one. All right. Hi friends, welcome back from commercial. So because of what we're discussing today and how we went about research is a generous term, but we'll call it that for now. Um, you know, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos.
Hmm.
Really is what I done did. Watched a bunch of YouTube videos, rewatched the Leisha Miller one a couple of times. And the thing is like I'm not gaining a deeper understanding of the document. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of the document.
Hmm.
And we could dig into the nitty gritty and figure out what the details of the ideas are, but that's not my, that's not my, that's not what I do.
No.
I mean, I can, and we do when it's important, but really what's important here is what this whole document represents. So we've put together, a list of links that we'll be putting in the doobly doo,
Mm.
in the YouTube video. Um, and we could post them in the chat right now, I suppose.
I can try.
Let me try
All right, you
because
try.
I'm more likely to be allowed to post
A link than I am. Yeah.
links.
Um. All right. For
Oh,
the
I
ones that.
watched that one.
Yep.
Oh, no, I didn't watch that one. Maybe I did.
Now, I'm going to state that one of the ones that I watched is from an opposing view.
Oh,
I
oh,
didn't realize it was an opposing view until it started because originally it didn't look like that.
huh. So two of the ones on the what cat watched list are ones that I watched.
And those are ones that I had bookmarked like last weekend, weekend before to come watch before you had your list together and shared it with me.
So, friends, there may be some repeat videos
But
on
at least you
this.
know, yeah, that
Um,
that that one that you didn't watch in the middle, that was the opposing view one.
I figured that out quickly because I recognize the other two as not opposing. And
Yeah,
there's a part of me that wants to see the other side and uh, what they're
some
thinking. Oop.
I just get through some of the video because it's watch the whole thing.
Oh,
I
interesting.
had to I had to skip through because
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Uh, I'm
that's
looking
fair.
at what I posted and it did not exactly work like I thought it would. So,
I see this.
oh well.
We tried. Look, if nothing else, I'll go through and put all the links in the Discord like I usually do
I mean,
for
the
script.
links will be in the Discord. The links will be in the doobly doo for the YouTube video. So yeah, the resources that we have used will be out there,
Yeah,
even though we are not journalists. I say that, although we're about to talk to someone like we're journalists in a couple of weeks or so.
I have something for you on that.
Ah,
I'm
okay.
gonna do a description on a definition of a journalist.
Oh,
A journalist is someone that does any sort of investigation and background checking and reports their views and opinions or reports what actually happened.
I'm still not a journalist. I am just a comedian.
That's fair, but
Do not mistake me for anything smarter than what I actually is. Although all my opinions are correct, they are opinions.
correct and verifiable as opinions.
They are verifiable as opinions, yes. I
We need to add
say
that part in
that,
there.
but sometimes I offer up facts as opinion.
I mean, yeah, but still.
In any case, what I'm saying is, as I say things, take them not just with a grain of salt, not just with a shaker of salt, but take them with a whole rock of salt.
Yeah, you know one of them 50-pound salt blocks that you feed horses? That's good.
That you're not allowed to leave out for deer.
Yeah,
I mean, I get why, because it's kind of inhumane and a little messed up. You're already hunting not the smartest of the sort of equine shaped animals, and you're hunting
mm-hmm,
them with guns. I mean,
mm-hmm.
powerful guns and scopes and you're allowed to use camouflage and you're allowed to wait in a tree and like you're stacking the odds in your favor an awful lot. Why do you
Mm-hmm.
need to also leave out bait? I feel like now, all of this being said, I have nothing against hunting. I think that hunting, especially in Virginia where we do have a deer problem, hunting is wonderful and we should do something about I think some of the laws regarding what you're allowed to do with deer meat maybe need to be re-examined because we could have a surplus of meat to feed to people who maybe don't get enough meat.
That actually was one that was changed here. I want to say it was last year,
Oh, was that
or went
the
into effect.
yeah? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good because I
They're
think I love the fact that we have a decent number of deer, but I know we have way too many in this state. It
oh yeah,
that's why it's dangerous to drive after dark in this state
or early in the
or
morning, or
early
sometimes
middle of the day, late in the afternoon, around dusk, sometimes right around brunch.
yeah.
Uh I've caught an occasional nooner,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
They
But you know
they say that
that rare 2 o'clock one is it's safe at 2 o'clock. It's too hot then.
but only during the hottest months of the year.
Oh yeah.
When I tell people to drive safe or have a safe journey home or things like that, because I do say that relatively often because I'm a very polite person. I
Mm-hmm.
say have a safe journey and be careful. In Virginia, every season's deer season.
Mm-hmm.
The one time I've hit two deer. I personally have hit two deer in my life.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, it was already dead.
Right.
What happened? What had happened was, uh, it was dusk. The sun was, you know, it, the sun wasn't exactly in my eyes. Traffic was heavy, but people were doing their lights. There was a bit of, I think, rain that had fallen recently, so there was a little bit of glare off the road, and it was just really hard for me to see what was going on. And so I completely missed this lump in the road
Ooh.
and ran
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
And my car smelled like rotting and cooking meat alternatively for the next 4 years.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was sort of how I got ended up smelling rather like a necromancer in high school.
Oh.
Chemicals, cooked meat, rotting meat, cloves. I mean, I really
Mm-hmm.
smelled like a necromancer.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
No.
you know, that was a Volvo 242 that I hit it in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so of course that didn't do no damage. Just run over a dead deer? No, that ain't gonna do you no damage. However, the next one, I was in a Volvo 245. It was an 82 station wagon, white. Um, Early in the morning, still dark outside, kind of early in the morning, and I'm driving to work between Gordonsville and Charlottesville.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going between these two berms, these two sort of where the road got, they cut in between a hill to run the road flat. So there are these two embankments, you know, maybe a little taller than the car,
Mm-hmm.
probably, possibly 8 or 12 feet up, maybe. And I'm driving sort of between a couple of them. And next thing I know, there's this strange, loud, semi metallic thump,
Ooh.
and I can't see out the windshield.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh my God, have I gone blind? And I'm like, no, I can see inside the car. What's in
Yeah,
my
that sounds bad.
way? As my car is. And like I'm starting to hit the brakes a little, and I realize it's my hood, and I
Mm-hmm.
bring myself into a turn into one of the, into a driveway to one of the farms and come to a stop. And I'm like, well, gosh. And I look down the road and there's a deer there that had jumped off one of the berms in front of the car as I was, with no time for me to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Bam!
Oh yeah.
Uh, few minutes later, a couple of rednecks in a truck pull up. I was like, hey, can I use your cell phone? This was back before cell phones were like really common.
Mm-hmm.
They took the deer carcass. I used the cell phone to call help.
Yep.
Yep, that's some Virginia stuff right there.
Yeah. What was it? I had one. I was on 29 and I had a car pass me and the deer threaded in between us to hit me.
Oh, mother fudger.
I was headed south. It was late at night. I was either visiting or it was after game one night. I don't remember. But got to that strip south of town after the
Mm-hmm.
interstate,
Yep.
and literally the car passed had his taillights had just barely cleared the headlights on the truck, and the deer threaded, came up the hill from the median, came across, just barely missed his taillights, and clipped the
Bam.
front of me. Took out the headlight, and then unfortunately rolled down the side of the truck.
Oh. 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 You know what? Oh, you know what the worst thing to hit is?
Vulture?
Yeah, one of them buzzards. Oh, the smell. Oh, the
I had
smell is awful. I like, and it did. It went down the side of the truck, and
Yeah.
and I hosed it off as soon as I got where I was going, but it was awful.
I mean, it would have to be because look at what a vulture is.
And what it eats. Oh, it was not fun.
No, no, it should not be fun. That should not. No,
No. And see, the thing is like, A, it takes them a while to take off. And B, they don't always take off in the direction that they're going to fly.
no.
They do one of those, like, things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get out of its way it was a Highlander. In the Highlander,
Mm,
I'm trying to dodge it. It's like managing to make it in front of me no matter where I'm going. It was cartoonish. It was cartoonish. And then the smell hit me, and it was no longer funny.
no.
Once the smell hit, it stopped being very funny at all.
All right. Speaking of buzzards and smells, we should get back to this.
We should. So,
Sorry.
what we are discussing today, what we're doing now is the conclusions we've come to from watching these videos about and reading some of the actual document. Project 2025, the mandate for leadership. It's it is disturbing. It is dystopian. Uh and the scary thing is this isn't the first time, which means it's got a track record. About 60% of what they outlined for Reagan got got pushed through, got done.
Mm-hmm.
And while Trump's name is mentioned quite a lot in the document, I can't remember the exact number. This
Like,
is applicable to anybody, any conservative president coming up who is, I mean, conservative's the wrong word. Any GOTP, Grand Old Trump Party affiliate, anybody who is anybody, this could quite easily extend to JD Vance. He's expressed interest in being the heir of this set of ideals. Um, you know, and of course, both he and Trump have tried to sort of have had disavowed this document,
mm-hmm.
but that's part of the plan. You know, deniability. They're not supposed to know about this document. Exactly. They're just supposed to deny that this is the plan, even though this is the plan and it's written down, and denying that this is the plan is written down.
Mm-hmm. I mean, all right. In all honesty, back when Reagan took office, you could get away with that kind of plausible deniability.
Well, and Reagan could get away with it because, well, I'm just an actor.
And
I
Trump is just a Cheeto in a suit.
right,
But
but we know better. We know better. Alarm bells are being rung, you know. And this plan, by the way, the book, the Mandate for Leadership book, the 900-page document, is only pillar one, but it outlines the rest of them. And
mm-hmm.
it is a detailed list of how to dismantle and reform the federal government into a dictatorship. I'm sorry. Into a penis potato ship.
Right.
Into this fascist state. And it
It's
is a not only is it a fascist state, it's a Christian fascist state. It's
it's how
Christian
you turn a president
nationalist.
into an emperor.
Right. And we are in
Oh,
ad.
we are in ad.
We are
All
in
right,
ad.
we are in ad. I have a
We
whole minute. I'm running and grabbing something. I'll be right back.
okay. Run and grab something. Be right back.
Try it. Nope. No, I'm gonna hobble fast and be right back. Running ain't happening.
I swear it smells like Gandalf just farted. The things you find yourself saying during ad break. So, what I will say about all of this is that we are 1 second from being back. Oh, hello, friends. We're back from commercial. And what I was saying is, what I will say about all of this is this is disturbingly this project 2025 is disturbingly honest with what they want, what they're willing to do to get what they want, and how to achieve these goals. It is a definitely a clear vision of mission, which is unsettling to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying is way more apt. Um, you know, if this comes to pass, I will be illegal. I will be illegal again, and I will be in the worst thought, in the worst place, the worst dystopia that my mind can come up with. People like me will be hunted for sport. I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. I can see witches and pagans, people who are religiously not even in the big three, you know,
Mm-hmm.
being hunted for sport because there's no reason for us to exist, you know? There's no, much less being queer. That will, oh man. Like, I'm just. Now, granted, this is an extreme dystopia that my mind comes up with.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to point out that we are in the time of the beginnings of these extreme dystopias.
That's how they all start out.
Yeah. They don't start
Yeah.
with a bloody revolution. They start with a very boring 900-page monologue about how they are going to take over the world, Mr. Bond.
This is true. Um,
And that's what
something
this
that
is.
something that I got reminded of. um, a social engineering experiment that a kid put together for his class to prove how a group of uninformed mass acting individuals will always be um, uh, outmaneuvered and will always lose to a much smaller, well informed, and planned out group.
Just sounds like an interesting sounds like an interesting study, an interesting case. Cuz
It was, but the thing is it's turned into a mass market game.
oh yeah?
Yeah, because if you look at the actual things, the kid was in a I'm not exactly sure now exactly where he was studying, but it was definitely a European place sounding um college. But the game that the game that he invented as a social engineering experiment was called Werewolf, and you had villagers and two werewolves. And at nighttime, everybody went to sleep, and the werewolves could pick someone. Daytime, the villagers could pick who they thought was the werewolf to get rid of, and it kept going until either you were out of villagers or out of werewolves.
So kind of like Among Us.
Exactly like Among Us.
And
Exactly like Mafia or any of the other games based on that exact principle of if you've got a small group that is working together and informed and has their things planned out, like, I don't know, here's your playbook, they'll always manage to win against a much larger, uncoordinated, untrusting
I guess that's not
group.
I guess that's not exactly like Among Us.
Oh, no, it is.
Cuz when you have two imposters, they're not working together.
They're not working together, but still, the
It it
the principle.
the principles hold true because what the one person is doing is disrupting the community unity communication
Mm-hmm.
of the other group through
Mm-hmm.
through a trust through a distrust based uh system. System's
It
the wrong word, but
works.
method through a distrust based method. Hold on, what was
So,
community unity communication?
yes.
Is that a term coined yet?
If it is, it's not one I've heard, and I've heard a whole bunch of things.
Okay, so we are right now claiming community unity communication.
You're claiming that.
I'm claiming it.
You're claiming it before Lockpick gets here and gets you for it.
Yep. Community unity communication is that flow state when the individuals in a system or community are communicating with each other harmoniously to achieve ends. I like it.
Like I said, you're claiming that before Lockpick gets here.
Yep. It is it's the flow state of information. It is the unimpeded flow of information between individuals in a system to achieve uh, goals for the system, to further the system, or that further the system. community unity communication. All right. So,
Anyway, the reason I brought that up is this playbook of theirs
mhm,
is effectively their goal to get themselves together to do this.
to use a high level of community unity communication to disrupt even
Everyone
further.
else's.
Yes. And subjugate subjugate the majority
Mm-hmm.
in America.
Yeah. So that's what this comes back to, and that's what they did back with Reagan.
Yes.
However, unlike with Reagan, you have you have nominees and people that are pretending to not know that are having to comment on things and tell people we don't know about that, thereby showing, oh, you're not going to go look up this thing on the internet because we've got information available now.
It's believable that Trump won't, but his people will. His people know about it, and his people are part of it. And that's kind of what has been shown. Leisha Miller touches on it in her videos, or in her video. Uh, the what's her name? Who did the series about it, where she interviewed other like prominent.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about that.
Right.
It's
So now, but the other thing is, instead of back then where this was something that could be hidden and could be kept behind
mm-hmm,
closed doors, and your only chance to find out about it really was sneaking in with a cassette tape or something.
right. This instead is available to the world,
This is available to the world, and now you've got people like us,
and
people like Leisha Miller, people like everyone else that's been talking about this going, wait a minute, if you're putting
what's
together what
what's what's the name of the other woman that um that's the one. That's the one that I wanted to look at. Yeah. Oh gosh.
uh Decius Aid is the one I was looking at.
Deshai uh Deshaya Sade. Shad.
Sade. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going off of that pronunciation because of how she says her first name.
Okay.
It's Deshaya. When she says it as a sh instead of an
Okay.
s, and I know that that is also how Sade spells her name.
Okay.
So
I'm good with that.
I'm going with it until I hear otherwise.
Yep.
And I am 100% okay with being corrected and changing my opinion.
I
Opinion,
mean,
changing my behavior,
pronunciation.
pronunciation, my behavior. My opinion is that whatever she says her name is what her name is, and I will pronounce it that way as best as I can. Oh, gosh. No, I'm not
Yes.
going to talk about that yet. This upcoming interview that we have planned, I've just got so much to say. There are so many opinions that I'm keeping to myself until after we do the interview.
That's fair.
I'm I
So yeah,
can't I can't tell you guys any more than that about it because we haven't fully nailed it down. And so I don't want to go spreading stories out of school.
yeah,
But we have a doozy planned for you guys.
just as soon as we get it nailed down.
Right.
Anyway,
Anyway, so back to
you
Project 2025. And what was I saying about that thing that Shade was saying? Or,
I had mentioned that unlike before, this time you've got an opposing group that is
oh,
spreading the word and
right.
getting their own, maybe not playbook together, but they're setting up the call to be alert at least.
There is a groundswell of grassroots awareness about Project 2025 through.
Right.
And what I really wanted to do with that was say the name of of that other creator so that we weren't just pointing to Leisha Miller. We're also pointing to. Please say her name again. I'm
Um,
so bad at remembering names.
I get Dasha Sade.
Right. Dasha Sade. There will be links to her videos in the doobly doo and in the Discord.
Yes.
Um, she has an engaging style. She tends to do a lot of sort of different things to keep you engaged with what she's doing. Um,
Including pulling clips of the people who are either involved with writing this document or busy trying to deny its existence, talking about it elsewhere,
yes, she
either right before or right after they denied its existence.
right. She does do that, but she also does things like work out.
Oh, yeah.
Like so her presentation style keeps you interested. It's she's good at bringing it into, plain English, translating it into plain English for you. Um
Yes. One of my favorite,
Leisha
one of the favorite things
Miller
she said,
uh
sorry,
yes, no, you go ahead. Her favorite things that one of your favorite things that she said.
when she was talking about how they got this through before was that it happened then, and they did the tax cuts, and we still waiting for all of those little trickles to finish trickling down. It ain't happened yet.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
like, yes, because
Well put.
I
Well put.
guarantee most people in their 20s are not going to have a firm grasp at all of anything that Reagan did. Most people in their 30s and probably in their 40s aren't going to
Right.
have a good grasp, but they will remember that whole trickle down economic scheme and how that entire pyramid scheme failed.
Right.
Well, it failed the ones it was supposed to help.
Well, it we have the ability to make that be what the narrative that's remembered is. Because not too long ago, people like the Heritage Foundation and the Heritage Foundation were trying to push a different narrative about
Mm-hmm.
Reagan being the best president ever and having gotten done a lot. And before that, there was a push to have the narrative be that Reagan did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That he wasn't a bad president, he was just a useless president. And the thing is none of those are true. He was malicious and destructive, and he was
And it was backed by a malicious, destructive document that helped point him in the right direction.
written by the Heritage
Although,
Foundation. Well, published by the Heritage Foundation. There is something about the Project 2025 thing that I want to touch on.
okay.
One of the writers
Mm-hmm.
was the guy who started that failed right wing dating site.
Yeah.
He's the guy who I guess it's TikToks or whatever. His short form videos are him doing something incredibly mundane and saying something sarcastic and not like eating a french fry and saying, "Oh, I guess women are good now."
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very simplified version of it, but it's like there's no from any of his stuff that I've seen, there's no actual substance to it. There's no it's all about being uh against ideas, being and feels about being not pandered to, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just, oh man, I just don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Just ain't buying it, buddy. You know, like, he may believe what he's saying. He may even think that what he's saying he's actually making a point. But I feel like it is nothing.
An ad, apparently.
Yeah.
It's an ad.
Well, that is, I mean, yeah, that fits though, doesn't it?
Yes.
Oy vey. Well, wow, that was a soapbox. I have
Yes.
opinions. I have
Yes.
opinions. Oi. What do we expect, though?
Good question.
I
Very, very
say,
good question.
as I turn to Emily the Spider Bat.
Oh,
Gandalf came with a blanket, a very small blanket from the SPCA,
mm-hmm.
and he seems to want, like, nothing to do with it almost.
Okay. Silly question. Have you washed it since you brought it in the house?
No,
Try that.
will do.
It could honestly be just it's got enough of the pound smell that he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But if
He
you
doesn't
wash it,
seem particularly perturbed by it,
mm,
and it, yeah. Hello, welcome back. Um, Now, Gandalf has just made himself completely at home in my room. Um,
good.
he he doesn't really want to go out of my room except for on my shoulder.
Excellent. You have a pirate cat, as you should.
I do, but I think of it more as a wizard familiar cat. Not like
Okay,
I'm the
fine.
wizard with the familiar. Like, no, it's a familiar that is a wizard cat.
Yes. That works too. Hmm.
Little gray thing
Now,
named Gandalf.
if if washing the blanket doesn't work, then I'll make him a new one.
Oh, that would be wonderful. And it's not like okay, see, like I think he was aware that we're talking about him. It's
Uh
not
huh.
like he's like half, not even half. He's sort of on it at the moment. He's got his back feet on it. So it's not like he's got any problem with it. He just seems to like all of my blankets and pillows much, much more.
They smell like you. The blanket doesn't.
Oh, he's laying on it a little bit. Last night, middle of the night, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like only a little awake. Like I'd woken up to sort of shift. He climbs up my body and falls asleep on the side of my
Uh,
face.
yep.
And I fell asleep with him on the side of my face.
That sounds like it should be.
Yes. He is very attached to me,
Good.
and I am okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm growing attached to him, but it's taking a long time. The damage from the losses recently
Yeah.
is making it hard for me to grow attached to new people cuz
Mm-hmm.
he's a people.
Oh yes.
So, where were we? What horrifying aspect of Project 2020 F me were we talking about?
You were busy rearranging your soapbox.
Oh, yes, pardon me for having gotten on that soapbox about. What was that soapbox about?
It was a very wide-ranging soapbox.
I am
It
anti.
started off with the narratives.
Okay. Well, I am anti Project 2025.
Yes, I
Um,
believe we go far.
and I mean, honestly, what else is there to say? I mean, other than, how we combat this is by voting. By
Mm-hmm.
voting, by talking, by informing people about it,
Yes.
you know, by continuing the conversation. Um,
Uh,
I feel like protests are protests are great.
mm-hmm.
I'm I'm all about them as a form of expression. I don't know if they change things. They change things as much as any other attention grabbing form of expression does. So I'm not gonna say don't show up for protests. Always show up for protests and bring a friend. Buddy system saves lives. Uh, but also uh, show up for town council meetings or town hall meetings. Show up for school board meetings. Show up for voting in all the elections, not just the big ones, but all of them, including primaries. And I know I skip the primaries. That's going to end. But also, the primaries, I shouldn't have skipped them last time around. But the primaries this time were like a broken pencil.
Mm-hmm.
Pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Pointless, pointless, pointless.
I
Uh,
mean,
it's. I suppose now we also talk about what happens next for the people on our side of the aisle,
Mm.
on our side of the politics. Uh, you know, Biden's out.
Right.
Harris has pledged to earn her nomination, but we don't really have a nominating process here. Hello, Wasabi. Much love. Thank you for the lurk. Um, we we haven't had much of a nominating process. Uh, it's really been a process that was, or a position that was handed off to her by Biden,
Mm.
and then everybody's just sort of fell in line.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this case, I think that's a good thing. And I think the fact that she is the nominee, presumptive nominee, is a good thing. She is uniquely qualified to combat Trump.
Mm-hmm.
She and a it is it appears that she will be doing that. That I am hoping that in an attempt to, in some misguided attempt to be unpredictable or to not appear to something, that her campaign not may allow his campaign to focus on some of the things that aren't necessarily desirable. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but if she runs as a solid law and order candidate, if she runs on under rule of law and says, "Look, we are a nation founded on rule of law, not rule of God. We are a nation founded with distinct separations of church and state. We are a nation founded on the idea of equality, even if equality was not explicitly written into the Constitution. The Constitution was, at the time, acknowledged as a living document, and equality has been and is still being written into the document. The law matters. If she runs on that platform, by the way, I'm terrified of that platform.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever anybody runs on that platform, on the law and order platform, I am, because
Because
I
usually they want to make a lot more stupid laws.
right, and I am, even though even though this appears to be changing, I'm still a radical dissident. I'm still I'm a radical not dissident, deviant.
Mm.
You know, I, I can't deny that I am a radical deviant because it's how I was raised. Like, I was
Mm-hmm.
raised into radical deviancy, political and social deviancy, people. Keep your mind up here. They're blue. What? My eyes, they're blue. Um, I am always worried about that being pushed, that line being pushed down, like the what is illegal. Well, you know, radical deviancy is always outside of the norm.
Mm-hmm.
That's its point. It's a reaction to the status quo and the norm, and it is outside of that. And anytime more laws are being passed, it's the people at the outsides that are being, the laws are slowly
Dealing with one way or the other.
pushing, yeah, like pushing in or out, depending on how you react, I guess. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's always pushing out. They're always pushing me out. Now, I do not break the law most of the time. Breaking the law is not the point for me. I don't break the law to break the law, and I obey laws that I feel are good. I obey laws that I feel aren't great, but like, but that's more self preservation, you know? Um, oh dear, here we go. Hi, Lockpick, much love. Lockpick, yes, but when you break laws, you break laws with torture. You torture the laws until they break. You can break my laws anytime.
Uh,
Oh, gosh. I chain those laws up in the basement until they ratify themselves.
I mean, now that's an interesting new way to go about parliamentary procedure, but
I like it.
screw it, I guess.
I like it. Whip them, beat them, make them sign bad amendments. Oh, so we've gotten through my take, my
Yeah.
conclusions. Your turn.
Um. Well, for starters, the of the videos that I watched, only one of them was directly an opposing view, and I will be honest. Part of why I had to skip through it is because it was so. It had such heavy religious overtones that pissed me off
Ah,
that I could not keep going through certain parts. Um, and the video started off. Oh Lord.
okay. So lockpick first says no foreplay, straight to legislation. Um, that must be why the laws are all so dry.
Yeah.
Then Lockpick says, is it bad that I can tell the exact moment you read half the stuff I type? No, no, it's not. It's
And
expected.
it's probably a good thing to distract me off it because I should have red hair to go with my temper and I don't. I'm gonna talk to my hairdresser later this week and see if we can fix that. So don't worry about the distracting. Um, no.
So yeah, this video was highly religious. Did it?
And
Okay, now I have a question. Did it have at any point? Did it say anything about like time to stop talking about Project 2025, y'all, or why y'all still talking about Project 2025 or something like that?
Like the first 15 minutes of it.
Because I've seen a couple of videos pop up that have that in the, like, it's time to stop talking about it, y'all. And it's the y'all. I think that's a dog whistle.
Yeah,
I
it
think it's a
is.
dog whistle. Um,
It is.
and I think it's not a dog whistle. I think it's not them saying it's time to stop talking about it to us. It's them saying that to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's them saying that to the Koch brothers or the Koch brother.
They're kind of
I try to be kind about people losing a sibling, but
yeah, yeah,
you know, I
yeah.
hope, I hope you miss him. I hope you miss him so much you decide to join your brother.
Wherever he may potentially be. Yeah. So in religious views, you and I differ somewhat, but in
Uh,
actual practice of things, you and I would both be illegal.
yes. I mean, very few people believe what I believe.
Yes.
Um, I will say right here and now, the Church of Cosmic Universalism is a very, very small church, as you would expect for any church that bases itself on the words of a faithless prophet. Our prophet doesn't believe what she says, but we do.
Fair point.
Not a
Okay.
shining commercial for my own church, is it?
No, no, as opposed to, all them other lunatics, what are false prophets and running around with billions of dollars. Um,
I I never said
Sorry.
she's a false prophet. She's a true prophet. She just can't accept it and doesn't want
You said
to.
she's one that has no faith,
Right.
which is different from being a false prophet.
Right. She just
No,
does it. Yeah, she
no.
just has no faith, which is
So
fun.
yeah, no, no. The commentator for that one video was just, it started off with the how, why are you worrying about this? Why are you in fear over this? Why are you talking about this? Haven't you looked at Trump's website? Doesn't it show that he's not doing this? So why are we talking about this? But we're going to talk about this. I was like, you liar.
You
You.
liar! Liar, liar! Your pants must be on fire, sir. Be
I was
you
like,
sitting up on a telephone wire?
and then the next words out of his mouth is, why you want to be around scared people? If you're around scared people, they're going to turn you in. They're going to snitch on you. It's like,
Whoa.
all right, I can understand that sentiment, but
No.
this is not the place for that sentiment.
Also, like, if we're scared because if we're scared like that because the system is designed against us, we wouldn't be scared if we redesigned the system to not be against us, so we wouldn't be put in a position where we they might try to attempt to force us to snitch. You know,
Yeah,
now I am not gonna snitch on anybody. Uh I will never. I will never. It was
oh, bad break.
I'm going to tell this story and add.
Okay.
It was hard enough for me to tell the cops who robbed me at shotgun point. It was really hard for me to bring myself to be like, yeah, it was these people.
Mm.
Like, that felt too much like snitching, even though they had pointed a shotgun at me and my people and, like, robbed us, tied
Mm.
us up, and, well, duct taped us up and robbed us. And I'm like, and it still, took everything inside of me to tell the cops. I was most certainly not the one who called the cops
Mm.
when that happened. There is a part of me that is glad someone else did,
Mm.
and that my reaction was tempered by that.
Yeah. In all honesty, if something is going sideways, you're more likely to tell on yourself than anyone else.
Right. Oh, I am way more likely to tell on myself. It's a little bit
So
like, man, you can't. How can you?
yeah.
I'm just. I am my own worst enemy when talking to cops. If I'm not
So
careful, I will get myself arrested for the Kennedy assassination. Like,
I understand that, and knowing how we tend to talk about some things, I'm glad to say that during one of the most recent fracases, you were sitting here on stream and I could see you, and you were responding to things people were chatting. So we know where you were. Well, I know where you were.
yes, that is true. You mean the national fracas?
Yeah, the one that was,
Ear piercing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm wearing an
no,
earpiece.
I I haven't spoken much about this on stream. I don't think I really talked about this at all on stream. But last karaoke, uh something crazy went on at karaoke last time, and I am not going to name the venue
Mm.
because I don't want them associated with the insanity that happened. And insanity, I mean, it's um, considering how much of this I want to talk about, like what I want to say. So there was an incident involving a ballistic projectile device on the in the street and on the sidewalk outside of this venue, uh,
Yeah,
and someone got a ballistic injury to the leg. That is the details that I have found out. The guy who got ballistically injured in the leg. I don't know if they've arrested anybody. Um, it was it was surprising. I mean, I definitely felt the change in energy in the room as stuff started heading in that direction. Like, I got off a stage after singing my song. I was singing, uh, was it Minnie the Moocher? You know?
That is a wonderful song.
Yeah,
It's a
I
wonderfully
enjoy
old
it.
song.
And I got off the stage, and no one had raised voices. There was no, but the tension in the room was so thick. And it looked like there were several groups of arguments, each one, in different places in the room. And each one seemed like they were going to about to just turn into a brawl.
Hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I need to be outside for a cigarette real quick. Because if a brawl goes on in that room, the exits are choke points.
Hmm.
Getting out of it is going to be very difficult.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's, I mean, it's a mostly open room, but there are a lot of tables. There are things that can be being swung around as weapons. There's a lot of room for people to get hurt, and I don't want to be part of it. So I went outside. And as I was smoking that cigarette, the bartender managed to herd everybody out the door, which meant that they were all in very closely, in the same area, all at the same time, all out front of the restaurant. And I went,
Nope.
nope. It's like, this is even worse. I was like, this is no. And so I went back in the restaurant and walked up to the bar to start to pay my tab to get the heck out of there. And behind me, I heard pop, pop, pop. And did you all hear that just now?
Yep.
Wow. That's how loud my neighbors are that you can actually pick them up on this. Um, Brock says, Trouble doesn't follow me around. It just knows where I am at all times. I will say, because of my neighbors, I am so, like, inured to the sound of gunfire that, like, while my mind was teeming with situational awareness that this was not the safe gunfire that I'm, used to, my body was like, yeah, but if we panic, it's over. You fall down, you're a target. You duck here, you're a target. We're going to walk calmly over to that brick wall, put our back to it, and put our body as close to that cabinet that's holding a whole bunch of stuff. And we're just going to stay out the way there.
Yep.
My brain was screaming, "Get me out of here, lockpick." My body was just like, "Nah, it's a, it's a Tuesday." Like I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm literally like very, I don't know. I'm very interested in whatever this disconnect is. You know, this there is something interesting going on in my brain that I don't that Mm, I don't know. But the other point of interest for me in what happened uh, was that I, I'm very interested in that moment right before the first pop occurred. What was going through the guy's mind? What was in the person's head? What was that? Was it an accident? Was it a muscle twitch? And then it was just followed up because of like, ah, 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 or was it, I go a bit further, was he afraid or was he angry? What was the calculus? I go a bit further into this. I'm going to be releasing a YouTube video soon. Um, a slideshow, YouTube slideshow with audio. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been going up to the hills and taking pictures from one spot, to um to play Instagram
Right.
because they've gamified Instagram. So,
Yeah.
uh, I've decided that what I'm going to do is every month or so, because I want to do this for a year. I want pictures from this one spot for a year. Every month or so. Also, when I go up there, whenever something interesting happens, I make a field log of it,
Mm-hmm.
an audio recording field log of it. So, when it's been a month, I'm gonna take all of the massive number of photos that I have from up there for that month, make a slideshow with the video, with the audio log and music, and put it out as a video. And I ponder a little bit deeper, um, and explain a little bit more in detail about what happened that night. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, and ponder a little bit deeper about like what could have gone on, what could have been that moment. And I really would love to ask that individual that question. But I don't know. And I know that I know that in that moment that was a human being having making a choice,
Mm-hmm.
whether it felt like a choice or not, or it was a human being fumbling. If it was a mistake, if it was accidental, man, what's going on for that guy emotionally now? Now that it's happened, what are that person's emotions? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I I wanna I want to know what it what it is for that individual, what's going on for that individual. Um, but that is yeah. Yeah. So, uh all of this being said, nothing was fatal.
Mm-hmm.
also it ties back into the other conversation. I was stuck there until around 1 in the morning, waiting for the cops to declare it no longer a crime scene. Um,
Yeah, that's so fun.
yeah, and you know, if I'd have spoken to the cops, if they'd have talked to me, somehow I would have gotten arrested for something. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what, I don't know how, but I'd have been arrested for something. You know,
Yeah,
I know it, and I know I would have like somehow been the said whatever it was that got me arrested for whatever they're arresting me for. Like, I just don't want to talk to police because something I'm gonna say is gonna make them arrest me, and I never know what.
that
You think
makes
that
sense.
might be a trauma response?
Oh, hell yeah.
Not traumatized by the ballistic projectile device noises. Nah, that doesn't bother me. It's the police that scare me.
Mm.
So, anything to add to this? Any conclusions you've come to from this?
Well, between actually reading the well, let me stop a moment. Your story or the document?
Yes.
Okay. Your story, I kind of wish you were around when I had to deal with a similar incident when I was bartending.
Mm,
I would not have wanted you with me there that night, but it would have been interesting to have you around to talk to.
you know, yeah. Lottie Dottie better bring bigger than a shoddy. I ain't scared.
Uh, um, but considering all of the chaos that night and how many people were doing different things, my view on how you reacted is you and I are a little bit alike with some of our quirks, which I'm not sure if you do it as much as I do, but there's a little piece in your brain that is always looking at things and going, making a backup plan for this, a backup plan for that. If this happens, X, Y, and Z are following. And it's not necessarily a something that is consciously under your control, but it's going on in the background like a subroutine. And I'm
I,
guessing that's what happened was a prearranged.
yeah, to the point where I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah,
Well, no, I mean, I was somewhat aware of it. I know that my body brain was making a decision in real time because it had not
you're,
entirely planned for this, but what it did was it looked at the wall and it went, "Oh, that's brick. That's an exterior brick wall. You'll be safe from gunfire unless it's a 50 cal."
yes,
And I looked at the cabinet and thought, probably small arms fire. You'll be okay. It didn't sound like it was a 9 or 10 millimeter.
yeah.
It sounded like a 20 or a 25.
So yeah, that would be my guess is that you've been in that building often enough that you had some scenarios already gamed out for getting away from a fight or something,
Oh, well,
and
yes,
you threw out of those.
I've done stand-up comedy in that building, so of course I've been on edge about what could happen next. Do I need to exit quickly?
You went through all of the other plans, and none of them had worked to get you out of the situation. So the next thing kicked in. Back to the original topic of the show that we keep trying not to talk about because we're bothered by it so much, which which is an interesting thing to note. And I wonder for other people that are trying to have this conversation, and they're trying the ones that have actually gone through it page by page, and the ones that have brought on other people.
God's
That
bless him.
how are they handling reading this when and processing it? Um, because it is so like I said before, it is so many rusty razor blades hidden in candy. I mean,
Cognitive
even
cognitive dissonance, maybe? Cognitive
maybe
disconnect? Um, it's entirely possible that I've almost got her name. It's
Miss Sade.
yes. It's entirely possible that what she's doing, the working out, the crocheting, we find her in meditative poses often. It's quite possible that all of the stuff that we see her doing in the video is stuff that she's doing to cope with the emotional damage of Project 2025 even existing. We are in ad break.
Yeah.
um
Uh,
all right. Well, we're almost
we're
at
doing
yeah.
yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Um
We'll wrap this up.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Um, next week we're gonna do something just straight up funny. We should do
Oh
something.
yeah.
We should plan to just be like, yeah, something just funny.
One, two,
Um,
three, four.
and Lockpick, it'd be awesome if you showed up next week in the voice chat.
Yeah.
And that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that would just joking around. Yep, keep it silly and fun.
Yeah.
Keep it silly and fun.
Yes. Um. Okay.
Yeah. All
Brain
right,
is buffering.
friends. Well, we are back from that ad break. What we were saying is that next week we're going to do something silly and fun. Lockpick says if he's available, he'll be in the chat. Um, Darth Dragonis, our Brocktober girl, our Brocktober man. Um, would you be available to be in voice chat? That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Because you are quite a delightful vibe.
Oh.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so if we bring Brocktoberfest, we need to get a camera on Brock so you can see him in the Brocktoberfest T-shirt that he has. It's a Venture Bros T-shirt. Yeah, of course. Brock Simpson. Um. So yeah, anybody who I might see if Trillhalla is available. Um, Just come on in and be silly.
Sounds good. I heard all about a scorpion that was found in Arizona that has two tails.
How old is it?
I mean, they didn't ask it for its ID card, but they're guessing like it's a year old. Sorry, that came out before my brain edited it.
No, that's okay, because I was about to say, I don't know, two tails, a year old. That sounds like an average number of stories.
Oh me.
Yes, you. You took my setup and made a better joke.
Sorry, that wasn't the intention.
Oh, don't be sorry. Own it. See, this is why you and Brock are my writing team. You guys have senses of humor that are that quick, that good. Hey,
Uh,
Gandalf, are you coming to say? Do you feel like coming to say hi to everybody? Are you just changing where you're sleeping? Yep. You know what?
hmm?
We're gonna do it anyway. So, yes. For 497 points,
Mm-hmm.
you may now look to the east to summon Gandalf.
Okay. You realize I've got
I need to
almost
put a
30.
I need to put a time limit on that now. I just realized that. Because lockpick will make Gandalf so fat.
But Gandalf is such a widget bitty baby and he needs all the foods.
Gandalf. Gandalf. Gandalf.
I'm just sitting here looking at the fact that I've got like almost 30,000 points. And I'm looking at all the things I can do with that many points.
Come on.
Yes, this is how we train Gandalf early to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, look, we can see elbows. Obviously, this kitty needs more treats.
Not a very large kitty yet.
No, still a decent size to ride on your shoulder and not cause crippling neck pain yet.
True.
Oh, shoot. My stinker decided to try to sit on my back when I was bent over doing something, and then he didn't want to get off this morning, which led to me backing into several surfaces to try to encourage him to jump off, and him deciding to slide the other way with claws. I have not decided to look in the mirror yet to see exactly how bad it is. I just know that,
It's bad.
oh yeah, it's bad, and someone is getting a bath tomorrow when I go pick him up.
Oh boy.
You can come hang out while I'm pet sitting, but you need a bath before you come over here, dude.
Hi.
No.
Whoop.
Ooh, if we're gonna
There's a
do funny
reason.
stuff,
There's a reason we didn't name you Grace.
uh-huh. But that looked like such a nice trip. I heard that so many times when I was little.
I bet. I bet.
Mom and dad both.
Have a good trip. See you next fall.
Oh, that too.
I've got a scar from a cat once decided to hang from my chest using claws.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a long one on the inside of my arm from one that my ex cat came with the name Firefly. Everybody in the house called her Little Needle Claws.
Lockpick, you can leave scars on my chest any day. Phew. I feel a little gross after that one. All right, friends. On that
That's okay.
note, we're gonna call it in before Lockpick gets HR violations. Hi, I'm
You,
HR.
uh,
Oh man, I feel awful about that one. Oh, and I'm still using it. I did it last time, and I'm still using it. It's all right. Stick around for the raid, friends. Thank you for joining us. And now is the time on the show when I say, as they say around here, two up, two down. VA double deuces. We're out, y'all.